She thought it would be just another shift, another morning of smiles, orders, and quiet resilience. But the moment he walked in, something felt different. His polished shoes, his stare that lingered too long, the way the room suddenly seemed to tighten around her. It was a warning she couldn't explain. And before she could make sense of it, a single moment, a gesture that looked generous from the outside, unlocked a truth far heavier than money. Because sometimes, the things people whisper aren't compliments at all. They're warnings. And what he said next? It changed everything. Before everything changed, her mornings were simple, quiet, predictable, almost comforting in their routine. Maya had worked the opening shift at the Starbucks on Elmwood for nearly 2 years, long enough to know the rhythm of the neighborhood before the world fully woke. She liked the early hours, the soft hum of espresso machines, the first trickle of customers, the calm before the rush. It was a space where she could breathe, where she felt in control, even when life outside the cafe felt heavier than she let on. Maya was the kind of person who noticed things, small details others ignored. The way regulars held their cups, the pace of their steps, the energy they carried with them. It made her good at her job, but it also meant she could sense when something was off long before anyone else realized it. That morning felt no different at first. She prepped the counter, organized the syrups, and tied her apron with the same practiced motions. But beneath the familiarity, there was something she couldn't quite place. A faint shift in the air she tried to brush away. Maybe it was just the weather. Maybe it was nothing at all. Yet, as the sun edged higher and the door chimed open for the day's first wave of customers, that uneasy feeling lingered, quiet, persistent, waiting. Because Maya had no idea that one interaction, one unexpected moment, would pull her into a situation she never asked for and expose a truth she could no longer ignore. The morning rush came in waves, each one pulling Maya deeper into the routine that kept her grounded. But even as she moved quickly, taking orders, steaming milk, calling out drinks, she felt the weight of the uneasiness from earlier pressing against the back of her mind. It was subtle at first, a faint pressure she tried to ignore. Yet with every passing minute, it grew heavier, as if the air itself was warning her to stay alert. Then he walked in. The polished shoes were the first thing she noticed, sleek, expensive, out of place among the usual crowd of students, nurses, and commuters. As he approached the counter, the room seemed to shift, the soft chatter dimming beneath an invisible tension. Maya felt his eyes on her long before he reached her, lingering in a way that made her throat tighten. She tried to focus on her work, but his presence pulled at her attention like a weight she couldn't shake. When he finally reached the register, he didn't look at the menu, didn't glance around. His gaze stayed locked on her, tracing her expression, studying her movements. It wasn't admiration. It wasn't curiosity. It was something else, something colder. Something that crawled beneath her skin with unnerving familiarity. She handed him his change, hoping the interaction would end there. But instead, he hesitated. His hand didn't move away, his stare sharpened. And in that brief pause, the room seemed to fall silent around her. Maya felt a chill run through her, the kind that didn't come from fear alone, but from recognition. Recognition of a pattern she knew too well. The kind of attention that never led anywhere safe. When he finally stepped aside, Maya exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. But the moment was far from over. As he waited at the pickup counter, his eyes never left her. Every movement she made felt watched, judged, measured. She tried to stay focused, but her pulse quickened with every sideways glance, every shift in his posture. Even the other customers began to notice, exchanging glances that mirrored her discomfort. Then came the moment that shattered the morning completely. He reached into his wallet with deliberate slowness, pulling out something that made the barista next to her shoot a startled look. Maya's heart thudded harder. It wasn't the gesture itself that frightened her, it was the certainty that whatever came next wasn't kindness. wasn't generosity. It was something darker, something she couldn't yet name. And just as she steadied herself, ready to turn away and retreat to the back for a breath, he leaned forward with an intent that made the entire cafe feel suddenly smaller. Because this was no coincidence. This was the beginning of something she wasn't prepared for, something that would soon reveal just how dangerous a single moment of unwanted attention could become. The moment unfolded with a sharpness Maya never saw coming. 1 second she was reaching for a cup, trying to steady her hands, and the next he was there again. Closer. Too close. The polished sleeves of his suit brushed the counter as he leaned in, placing the crisp bill between them with a precision that felt less like generosity and more like a trap being set. The cafe noise faded into a distant hum. Maya's heartbeat was the only thing she could hear, loud, uneven, echoing against the walls of her chest. She saw the bill, but her gaze locked on something else, the look in his eyes. It wasn't admiration, or flirtation, or anything that could be explained away. It was entitlement, ownership, a chilling certainty that he could cross any line, say anything, do anything, because people like him always walked away untouched. When he lowered his head, the breath he released was slow, deliberate, heavy with something unspoken yet unmistakably threatening. Maya felt her stomach drop, her body tensed with the instinct to step back, to shield herself, to disappear into the safety of the back room. But she was frozen, caught between fear and the suffocating pressure of the moment. Around her, customers sensed the shift, conversations quieted. A barista paused mid-pour. Eyes darted toward the counter, unsure but alert. Yet no one moved, no one intervened. The world seemed to shrink into the narrow space between Maya and the man who believed her discomfort was his to control. Then it happened, the gesture that changed everything. His hand moved toward hers, not in kindness, but in claim. A touch that lasted only a second but carried the weight of every unchecked act of power she'd faced, every moment she'd swallowed her voice to stay safe. Her breath caught, her pulse surged, and something inside her snapped, not in panic, but in realization. This wasn't an interaction. This was a violation, the kind that demanded a choice. And as the room held its breath, Maya understood something with chilling clarity. Whatever she decided next would determine whether this moment defined her or destroyed her.